Good evening, folks, and you're very welcome back to the Boil and Talk Sport YouTube channel. Just checking in because we have a bit of a mixed bag for you this evening. I can see already because I have a monitor looking back at what you were seeing that it does look as if I'm looking sort of away from you all, but I am here and we are recording well anyway. So, as I was saying, definitely have a bit of a mixed bag for you in this. Basically, nothing overly structured to it at all. I just wanted to check in and keep the content flowing, so we have been able to produce a lot of content across all of our platforms lately. But the first thing to mention in this edition of the Drive Through Sports Show would be to give you all what I suppose is good news. Well, it is good news because it turned out that I may have been a little panicky over things for no reason. But long story short, I got my first shot of the COVID-19 vaccination yesterday at lunchtime in Simonstown Gales GA Club just outside Navan, and I would first of all like to thank Jim Lane from Simonstown. I don't know if Jim is still chairman down there. He was chairman for a long number of years and may still be, but Jim was on hand to welcome me yesterday, and it was great to see a familiar face from within the GA community, and I must also say that the outpouring of well wishes and well wishes and people glad for me that I got the first shot in the arm, so to speak, was nothing short of overwhelming, and is appreciated more than maybe even I can put into words now. I would also have to compliment now. I don't know whether it's Simonstown or the HSE or the two working in tandem, but it was a really wonderful and fluid system that they had in operation in Simonstown yesterday, and I must also at this point in time thank my friends and colleagues in the Rehab Care Resource Centre in Dunboyne, without whose intervention, God knows how long I would still be waiting to get the much sought after jab. But as I was saying, between Simonstown and the HSE did a wonderfully fluid, efficient system in operation yesterday. They were taking in 6 or 8 patrons at a time, and you go in, there's no waiting around. Go in, get your job done, and then into another part of the big sports hall in the North Navan venue, which I know quite well from being in and out of the club over the years, and did a one-way system in operation whereby you go in one door, get done, and just sort of keep going round in a ring until you arrive at the other door. And it was very efficient, very quick, and on a personal level, and I suppose to a certain extent, this might actually make me seem like a bit of a wuss, but I suppose we're all entitled to a bit of fear of the unknown. But I must actually um, compliment the nurses who were administering the dose, as it were, to myself anyway, because I will admit I would not be a major fan of needles by any means, but I must say that the ladies doing the job yesterday were so neat and efficient and um, particular about the job that they were doing, that I still actually had myself in the brace position. I suppose you'd call it, waiting for the needle to go in, as I thought, when in actual fact, the needle had already been in and out, and they were actually plastering me up, if you want to call it that, when they had the job done. Now, then, of course, the other part of the procedure then is that um, you wait around in an observation area, which was basically the bottom half of the sports hall, that they have the sports hall divided up very neatly into sections, and the bottom part thereof was the sort of observation area, and it's very efficient and officially done. That in my case, for example, now I got the injection at 14:06, that being 6 minutes past 2, and at 14:21 then, or 21 minutes past 2, the nurse came back round to say that we were free to head off. So I suppose the first thing that came into mind, having left Simonstown and got back into the van and headed for home, first of all, I felt like a bit of an Egypt, because, I will admit that, I think anyone that has read my stuff on the website, or listened to videos or podcasts or that I've done, will know that, I have had difficulty in sort of dealing with all that COVID-19 has imposed on the world, not just on myself. And I am very conscious that it's not just on me, but I would be lying if I didn't say that I have found it extremely difficult in some ways to adjust to some of what COVID has brought about, or more to the point, I suppose, what it hasn't allowed to happen. But I would be brutally honest as well. Now, I know when I was younger that there was some, I don't know if it was debate the word, but there was definitely difficulties in uh, dealing with my situation with regard to injections and vaccinations and immunizations. And that now I know as a kid I didn't really get the uh, shots that were that would be considered the norm for kids then, and now still I assume, but I don't know whether that was medical advice or whether it was choice by certain people or what, I don't know. But aside from the fact that I will have no problem in admitting that blood and needles are possibly the only two things I am afraid of in life. Well, not even afraid, just afraid nearly makes me sound like a windbag, but I'll put it like this: they're the two things that I would earnestly try to avoid in life, if at all possible. And you know, I would have um kicked around long and hard as to whether I wanted to get the vaccine at all or not. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not on my own anymore, thanks be to God. Um, I have Susie now, obviously, and aside from that, like Susie herself has a brother with special needs, and you know, her family would be in a fairly high risk bracket too, but um, so I know I haven't been the perfect. I won't say patient, but the perfect subject matter with regard to COVID-19 by any means, but um, I do sort of feel like an ass now, having seen the way it played out. For being as het up about it as I admittedly was, but so look, that is the one dose of it in, and they informed us that part two should be administered in about 12 weeks' time. So, by my calculation, that would bring us up towards the end of June. And, you know, if that's all it takes to get the world somewhat opened up or back to normal or whatever used to pass for normal, you know, I I know I feel sort of stupid over the whole thing, but um, look, at least I'm trying to tell myself now that please God I've the worst bit of it over, and please God we're getting a bit nearer to being back to something that resembles normality now. Uh, on that, and just to wrap up from that angle, I had been forewarned, shall we say, before going down to get the vaccination that the side effects from it might wallop fairly hard and leave me out of sorts for a bit. But uh, am pleasantly surprised to report that apart from the left arm uh, being a little bit sore where the needle went in, that has absolutely no reflection on the nurses who were doing the job, as I said earlier. But apart from the arm being a little bit sore and being slightly fatigued, I suppose you could say there's no major um, after effects, and one would imagine if there was going to be, without wanting to sound blasé about it, you would imagine if there was going to be that, they would have sort of manifested themselves by now. But I would hope that, please God, we'll be able to get back up and about. Well, I was lucky in that I decided, well, not that I decided, it was a matter of having to get up this morning when the carers come in to um, deal with one's biological needs, shall we say. But uh, I would be fully intent at this stage on um, getting up and about in the morning and heading back over to rehab. And then, weather permitting, when I come home after rehab, um, I have we still have about uh, half of our early crop potatoes to sow. So I will be hoping at some stage tomorrow, if I have the energy and if I'm not too sore, that I'll definitely give that a go. I know when my carer, Elaine, came in for the afternoon call today, um, she, fair play to her, she managed to coax me out of the house for half an hour, even just over as far as the shed. And I went in and got me a few bits of gear and uh, sprayed the two crops of spuds that we have gone in already. I suppose they're a week or 10 days in at this stage. And I was even, sometimes you have to wonder, does everything in life happen for a reason? Because as I would have written about fairly extensively on the site in the last couple of weeks, certainly I could not be happier having switch care companies, because it's like winning the lotto compared to where we were at. But I would be hoping, as I say, that please God, if I'm well enough to tip over to rehab tomorrow, we might saw a few more spuds when I come home. I was actually half tempted to slip back out and do another bit this evening, but the body is telling me no, more or less. So for once in my life, I'm going to do the sensible thing and listen to it. But I tell you, when we were also out in the shed, Elaine, being of farming stock herself, noticed my big sprayer that's lying up on top of a cabinet in the shed for a long time now. Neither Susie nor I could figure out how to put it together, so it would not surprise me in the slightest if that's done by this time tomorrow as well. Um, so that's where we're at on the farming front. I wish I had more to tell you, and uh, I will admit that is not sitting very well with me that I don't. But uh, look, at least we're slowly but surely getting the wheels turning again. Speaking of which, now this could already have been done. I don't know, but I know our glorious Prime Minister is making an announcement, or indeed he may have it made by now regarding restrictions and whatnot to do with the current COVID situation. Now, I sources were telling me last night that um, a bit of a relaxation of the measures would appear to be lined up to click into place quite quickly, actually, once the announcement is made. I would have no reason or inclination to doubt the veracity of my source, and I would hope that it does turn out to be true because, personally speaking, and I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in a similar vein that even having a GA match or a race meeting or both uh, to get to know that the clocks have gone forward and um, the evenings are that bit brighter. Uh, I would imagine that a another lockdown spanning another summer would be exceedingly difficult to negotiate one's way through. Now, I have heard it mooted this evening that there's talk of inter-county GAA training returning on April the 19th, and club underage activity resuming a week later. It would be absolutely marvellous if that does turn out to be the case. I am not inclined to hold my breath on it though, because there's been false dawns with this situation before now. At this point, I suppose I should say that no matter what the uh, government, and it doesn't matter what parties we're in, uh, no matter what the government uh, choose to do uh, in a situation like this, it won't um, please everybody. Now, um, I know it probably raised a serious amount of eyebrows. Was probably last year at this stage when Leo Varadkar actually did sort of uh, stand up to Tony Hoolan and challenge him a little bit. But look, uh, I suppose the way it is, I mean, the government really can't win no matter what to do. If they don't follow his advice, they'd be wrong. And if they do follow his advice and, maintain lockdowns or whatever it may be, they'll not exactly win a popularity contest either. But if what I'm hearing over the course of the last 24 hours turns out to be true vis-a-vis inter-county GAA and underage activity at club level looming back on the horizon. That in itself would be a start. I suppose on a local level, um, just briefly turning attention to horse racing. I suppose last Easter was strange enough when we know Grand National and Fairy House last year at all. Um, but uh, this year, I suppose, in a different sort of way, would be even more odd if it was. Well, it will be on when it's on, and there'll be actually nobody there to witness it. Now look, I at this point should say I am blessed that I'm in a position to have racing TV and Sky Sports Racing and ability to watch sport online and place a bet online. And I do realise that there's a sizable proportion of people that won't have that luxury, but um, it certainly will be strange. The big meeting and that'll be Fairy House. Three of their big meetings in the last 12 months. Well, they lost the national fixture altogether last year, and the Winter Festival in December was behind closed doors, and yet again, Peter Rowe and his staff are facing into a similar situation regarding Saturday and Sunday and Monday of the coming days. But you would hope that the positive vibes coming out of certain places with regard to what may lie ahead in terms of the easing of restrictions or that may in fact turn out to be right, because certainly whether it be on a sideline at a GA match or just pottering around the way room in Fairy House, or uh, going up the road to visit some of the neighbouring farmers who I haven't seen in far too long, having got the stage one of the vaccine into me now, and if the overtures coming out of Kildare Street are anywhere along right lines, I would be hoping against hope, especially now the clock gone forward, that we should be able to look forward to you know being out and about and engaging in some sort of leisure activity sooner rather than later. Uh, as I said, my main purpose for recording this evening was just to let you all know that part one of the vaccine has been taken aboard. Uh, as much as I may have had misgivings about it, sitting back and reflecting on it today and thinking about it, look, whether it's true or not true, I have to keep telling myself that we're one step uh, closer to being back to where I want to be, and I'm sure the same applies to thousands of others. But I will sign off for now. keep tuning into the actual website itself, boilingtalksport.com, this YouTube channel, and all the other social media outlets. We're on them all. We will have plenty of material coming up over the coming days with Fairy House on the horizon. At the end of the day, this business is all about fresh content, and I am very privileged and very aware of how lucky I am to be in a position to get as much content out and up as I can. I have a few big ideas in the pipeline, which I'm not going to say anything about yet, because whatever about the viewing public or reading public, I've learned the hard way too many times over the years about building myself up for a letdown. But look, no, I just wanted to literally check in this evening and, maybe a little mini celebration of having part one of step one back to normal, under control, and I will see you with more fresh content sooner rather than later.